In 1973, an actor screamed into a microphone, and the engineers ran his voice through a small metal box. And what came out wasn't human. It wasn't pitched down and it wasn't distorted. It was actually something worse. Something the brain doesn't file as human. This was the voice of the Daleks in Doctor Who. And this box does exactly one thing. It multiplies. Sophie here, let's talk about ring modulation, some of the strangest math in audio. Almost every type of effect you hear adds things. Reverb adds echo. Distortion adds harmonics. Chorus adds copies. Delay adds time. Ring modulation, however, doesn't add. It multiplies. So let's take two sounds, a voice and a tone. If we multiply these together, sample by sample, thousands of times a second. Both the voice and the tone seems to be totally gone. When you multiply two frequencies, you don't get the same two frequencies back. The original vanishes. Multiply a 1000 Hz tone by a 100 Hz tone. You won't hear 1000 and you won't hear 100. You actually will hear 1100 and 900, which I would describe as the ghosts of a calculation. So why do the Daleks sound like the Daleks? Your voice is just a stack of harmonics. Whole numbers, multiples of the fundamental. That ratio is what makes your voice sound like a voice. And your brain has spent your entire life learning to recognize this pattern. Ring modulate that voice against a single tone, and every harmonic will actually shift by the same amount. Not multiplied, added. 100 will become 130, 200 will become 230, 300 will become 330. The ratio is no longer whole numbers, the ratio is breaking. The math your brain uses to recognize this is a human voice stops. What's left has the rhythm of speech, the cadence of speech, the words of speech, but the numbers underneath are gone. It sounds like something that's pretending to be alive. That's why every alien, every robot, and every demon has used this effect. Because it's not human, it's the sound of a voice with numbers that don't quite add. So here's the thing. Ring modulation isn't an effect that someone invented. It's what happens when any two waves share the same space and the medium between them isn't perfectly linear. Your eardrum isn't perfectly linear, and neither are the tiny bones behind it. When two loud pure tones hit at once, your ear multiplies them. You hear notes that aren't in the room, and this is called combination tones. Composers actually wrote music around them in the 1700s. Chords designed to summon a fourth voice only inside the listener's head. And the radios in your pocket work the same way on purpose. Every AM signal you've ever received is a voice multiplied by a carrier wave, which was sent across the sky and then multiplied again to carry that wave back so you could hear the voice. Essentially, you can just think of it as the sum and the difference being undone. Because multiplication is really just how information carries when it can't be carried directly through the air. We built a box on purpose that does what the universe does on accident. Every time two waves meet inside something, that bends them. Stars do it, plasma does it. Anywhere two frequencies cross inside something non-linear, new frequencies will appear out of nothing.